So this webinar is being recorded, and the webinar is also being shared on our Visit USA the Netherlands website and our YouTube channel, so you can rewatch it in the future and share with any other colleagues who are not able to join right now. But welcome again to you all for being here. I was muted there for a second. So thank you all for joining. Welcome, and a special welcome to Brian. Brian is the ESTA Program Manager, and he will be guiding us through this presentation on the Visa Waiver Program and anything that is related to traveling to the United States. Many of you already submitted some questions beforehand, so we expect those to already get answered through the presentation, but if not, then there is a Q&A session afterwards where your questions will be discussed. And if during the webinar you have any additional questions, please put them in the chat. We will be monitoring the chat and save those as well for the Q&A. So Brian can just have his story run smoothly and everything will be answered after. If there's many questions and not enough time, then we will be sure to follow up to your questions via email. So either way, you're going to get your answers, and we hope today is going to be very informative. And yeah, we'll get you all sorted with your helping your clients travel to the United States. Having said that, Brian, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, and good afternoon, everyone. Hello and welcome. My name is, like you said, Brian. My name is Officer Brian Bloss. I'm with the Program Manager with U.S. Customs and Border Protection. I'm very proud today to be here with you all to share some information about the U.S. Visa Waiver Program. Wanted to start off by saying a big thank you to Visit USA Netherlands and all the committee members who took the time out of their day to join this call. We are very grateful for all of you, all of our partners, and their efforts to keep travelers informed when coming to the United States. Like it was noted before, we'll leave some time after the presentation to address some of the questions you may have. So please, like it was noted, utilize the chat function to ask as many questions as you want, and we will review them at the end of the presentation. Okay, transform the travel experience. So the Visa Waiver Program allows visitors from 43 countries to enter the United States without a visa. It offers a process that is not only convenient, but is also highly secure. The Visa Waiver Program allows citizens of 43 countries, including the Netherlands, to travel to the U.S. For business or pleasure. ESTA, or the Electronic System for Travel Authorization, is the actual system that determines if a traveler is eligible to travel under the Visa Waiver Program. Travelers or third parties, such as travel agents, can apply online or on the ESTA mobile app, which launched in 2023. With the Visa Waiver Program, travelers can stay up to 90 days in the U.S. for business or tourism purposes. Now, ESTA is valid for 2 years or until the passport expires, whichever comes first. And we at CBP urge the travelers to apply once they have booked their travel, but no less than 72 hours before boarding. The application fee is $21. Now, we have heard from some of our travel industry stakeholders that there are fake websites, and that's become a major issue. Now, these websites usually charge more and pose a great risk to travelers entrusting them with their personal information. Now, please, please, please advise your travelers to apply only on the official website. Now, we can identify the official website if it ends in GOV or on the official mobile app. Okay, I'd like to show a video. Now, we were very excited to share some of those fantastic ads that our partners created for you, and just made us as thrilled about the ESTA app as everybody else. So, thank you. Let's see, ESTA in the palm of your hand. Now, you heard me talk about the ESTA mobile app, which is the most secure and convenient way to obtain the visa waiver. The app has a ton of benefits and allows the applicants to choose a preferred language to complete the application. It improves the accuracy of the application through its scan passport feature, eliminating the possibility of human error. It improves security through its utilization liveness feature, which requires applications to take a live selfie and to verifies their identity. Now, um, third parties can also apply on behalf of their travelers. Now, the mobile app automatically marks it as a third-party application and gives travelers more leeway to apply if they are denied because of a typo. The app can now pull applications automatically using the feature already enabled on your smartphone, and allows travelers to check the visa waiver status right in the palm of their hand. The short video. Exciting times. So, in addition to the ESTA mobile app, we're very excited that we have made even more strides to improve the traveler experience. The ESTA app also enhances not only enhances the application process, right? But the mobile passport control app streamlines the arrival process through U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Now, the MPC app provides a faster and more efficient customs declaration upon arrival and the processing. What travelers do is they basically fill out their information directly on their phone, removing the need to fill out any paper forms and submit it upon arrival. Travelers then submit their information upon arrival at their port of entry. They will need to notify, they will be notified, and they could see signage throughout the U.S. Customs Hall or via the MPC app designated which lane they may use to expedite their process by a U.S. Customs officer. So what travelers do is basically before they depart from wherever they're coming from, of course, they'll download the app, they'll input their information on the app, and once they arrive, all they need to do is get their service on their phone and hit that submit button on their app, and we at CBP collects their information prior to them seeing us. So it's very exciting. The thing about the MPC app, though, is it's only Visa Waiver Program travelers on ESTA can use it on subsequent entries, meaning they cannot use it on their first entry as a Visa Waiver Program traveler. If they traveled before using ESTA and they come in, say, next week using ESTA, they can now use the MPC app. As you can see here, the MPC mobile passport control is supported by at now 53 locations throughout the U.S. That's 35 U.S. international airports, 14 pre-clearance sites, and 4 seaports of entry. Okay. Enhanced security through ESTA. CBP is not only enhancing the overall travel experience, but also increasing security measures through advancements. To streamline the website and the ESTA mobile app, we will soon be adding a new security feature to the website, prompting users to upload a selfie in addition to uploading their biographical page. I know this is a big hot topic for a lot of us. So individuals who travel to Cuba since it was designated a state sponsor of terrorism, or SST, on January 12, 2021, must apply for a visa. As you know, as you've seen, I'm sure you heard that question 9 now includes Cuba on that question. But unfortunately, that January 12, 2021 enforcement date remains in place. So if those travelers or those applicants answer yes, they're prompted to specify the actual country they visited and the travel date. So with Cuba, if they traveled anytime before the January 12, 2021, they're still good to go. They're still eligible for travel under the Visa Waiver Program. On or after the January 12, 2021 date, unfortunately, they're ineligible to use the Visa Waiver Program on ESTA, and they are notified to obtain a visa, apply for a visa at the U.S. Embassy or Consulate. Now, very excited on this one. So, now that travel is somewhat back, I guess you could say, in the Visa Waiver Program, we played a very key role in this. The application numbers are close to pre-pandemic 2019 stats, and the denial rate for ESTA applications are below 1%. So we are proud to promote a program that makes it easier for travelers to explore all the U.S. Has to offer. Now, we at ESTA have forged alliances with the airlines, major travel associations, government entities, and various industry stakeholders and leaders to spread awareness of the mobile app and ensure travelers are up to date with all the U.S. entry requirements. Now, to provide and ensure travelers are up to date on the latest Visa Waiver Program rules or news, we have developed resources for stakeholders to use in their communication efforts to promote ESTA. And I'm sure you're wanting to know what some of those resources are. So what we have is what we've developed is the mobile app marketing tool, and it basically contains up-to-date information on the ESTA and MPC apps, as well as instructional how-to guides, content tailored for various travel audiences, and digital materials in multiple languages. Another resource that was created was ESTA Latitudes, which is a quarterly newsletter that informs stakeholders on ESTA-related news, such as the launch of the new ESTA app, application updates, and some of our new partnerships. And it also addresses frequently asked questions or hot topics. One other resource that we have is the Traveler Communication Center. The Traveler Communication Center is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week resource. It's a phone line and a great resource to use if there are application mistakes or any ESTA-related questions or general travel inquiries that travelers have. Now, I would encourage everyone, if you haven't done so already, to scan the QR code that you see on your screen to download some of our marketing materials, or it even has both mobile apps, ESTA mobile app and the MPC mobile app, and to opt in to our new and exciting newsletter. Okay, with that, thank you very much to all for you who participated, and we would love to address any questions in the chat or that may have come up during the presentation.
Thank you so much, Brian. I will help you with translating some of the questions that were put into the chat, and I'll also go through any of the questions that were submitted by people before the webinar, and that maybe we can go into a little bit, a little bit more in depth. You already mentioned about Cuba being as a state sponsor of tourism, and that when you travel after 2021, you need to request a visa instead of using the Visa Waiver Program. But in the ESTA application itself, under question 9, so very specific, it states March 1st, 2011 instead of the 2021 date. What's your advice when someone visited, for example, in 2020, how to go about it?
So like I mentioned before, yes, the date stated on the question 9 was March 1st, 2021. However, like I said, once you select that yes to that question, another question will appear asking what country and then what date. So the system will automatically identify the country, say Cuba, and then that person traveled before the date that it was designated the SST, and then it'll go on from there.
Okay, thank you. Do you expect it to this rule to change, to sort of be released for a while, or do you expect it to stay and remain intact?
Now I cannot answer that, unfortunately. I know there was some question that the at the end of the previous administration, they took them off. But however, once the new administration came on board, they I guess put them back on. So I cannot answer for whatever the administration does as far as designating any country into the program.
Okay. Thank you. That's clear. The next topic that we have is the ESTA application. You already talked about the app and how easy and useful it is to submit your application through that. Some people are is it better to request an individual application or a family application if you're traveling with, let's say, a group of 4? What is suggested, or the same?
No, good question. The group application function is basically for a convenience purpose or for payment issues or for payments, because you don't want to be, like a family of 4 making an individual application and paying the fee each time. So what the group application actually does is takes all the group members' applications, collects all the information and pays or administers that fee. And it's just basically for convenience and payment purposes.
Okay.
There's no difference in
either or. Both can be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's more convenient if you have a group of 4 or 5, and you just want to make one payment to the actual group application. So
yeah, and it would also work the same if you do it through the app as a group application. You can
individual application,
not the individual apps, right? Just on one phone.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Another question about the application. There is a segment where they ask for social media handles and links. What should you mention there? Should you mention something at all?
Well, the social media option or the social media function on the ESTA application is strictly optional. It is entirely up to the applicant whether or not they want to put their social media handle on it. It's entirely up to them. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, it's entirely up to the applicant.
Okay. And someone is asking, is it best for us as the tour operators and travel agents who are in this call to apply for the client or let the client apply for the ESTA themselves?
That's entirely up to them. I mean, if the traveler feels comfortable or just doesn't have the time or whatnot and would like to use the services of the travel agent, it's entirely up to them, or they can apply themselves.
Yeah, as long as it's through the official website.
Correct.
Suggested.
Yes, please. Thank you for that. Yes. .gov.
There you go. What happens when you make a typo in the application? Can you make an adjustment or do you need to apply for a new ESTA? Was a big question.
Once the applicant submits the application and it's reviewed or whatnot, they cannot make any or corrections on their application. So what they would need to do is, as I mentioned before, one of the resources to contact the Traveler Communication Center. All they need to do is explain that I inputted my, say, date of birth incorrectly. The TC or the Travel Communication personnel, center personnel, would take that information, verify it, and they would actually be able to cancel that application to allow the applicant to reapply with the correct information.
Okay, so you would need to reapply. You cannot adjust in the current application.
Right. So what happens is if say everything's correct except their date of birth, but the passport information is correct or whatever, the passport number. What happens when they check in? The airlines might not get that response saying that they have a approved application, and then their travel is delayed or whatever. So we recommend and we suggest travelers, if they do notice that mistake on their application, to please, once they do notice it, please contact the Traveler Communication Center, and they can expedite that cancellation of that application so that individual can reapply with the correct information.
Perfect. That's a clear answer. Thank you. Then next step, ESTA approval or rejection. Generally, it's approved within a few hours, up to 48 hours is what's mentioned on the website. What if someone finds out really late, like last minute before its travel, that his ESTA is not approved yet, or they forgot to request? What would be your advice in that moment?
So we recommend travelers submit their ESTA application at least 72 hours in advance. But routine processing, administrative processing may take up to 72 hours or longer. So it's very highly recommended that they do submit the application 72 hours prior to traveling, or they can apply for ESTA once their travel plans are solidified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can already request way in advance, but then
Correct.
already the period of validation already starts from the day it's approved, right?
Correct. 2 years after, or valid for 2 years, or the passport validity, whichever comes first. Say their passport their passport expires next year. The ESTA application will be valid for whenever that passport is valid until, instead of the 2-year mark.
Yeah, it doesn't cross over to a new passport.
Unfortunately, no, no, it doesn't.
Could it be that if your ESTA is approved, that the status changes to denied after it's been approved? Is that possible?
That is a possibility. What the ESTA system does, right? It constantly is revetting or reviewing these applications against various databases, which can cause an application to be suddenly denied. So for law enforcement purposes, as well as privacy reasons, we'll be unable to disclose most ESTA denials. But basically, yes, the answer to your question is yes, it can be suddenly denied after it has been approved, because it's constantly running through our systems, and it may flag something that happened or recently happened. So, and that will cause the ESTA application to revert to the denial status.
Yeah. And then in that case, is what would be the solution?
To apply for a visa at the U.S.
Yeah.
Embassy. So now I wanted to make a very important part to denials. ESTA denial does not prohibit anyone from traveling to the United States. The only, I guess, caveat to that is they would have to apply for a U.S. visa, and then they could travel to the U.S. U.S. visas are generally good for 10 years. Basically, it's $16 a year for 10 years, if that makes sense. Do the math correctly. So a visa, in a sense, is more. It's valid for 10 years, and it's a little cheaper, I guess you could say, than having ESTA.
There you go. Yeah, and regarding the visas, because currently there are quite long waiting times to request one. Do you have maybe an insight what the current waiting times are, or?
U.S. visas are a U.S. Department of State function, so I cannot comment or respond to any questions regarding visa applications or visa issuance.
Okay, but the advice would be requested on time, because yeah, you want to make sure you have it on time.
Yes.
Then regarding the NPC, you were already explaining how that works. A question in the chat came up, which airports are working with the NPC? Is there a place to find that?
Most Absolutely. Unfortunately, I don't work for NPC, but we try to promote their program. Unfortunately, I don't have the actual list of airports. They can Google search mobile passport control, and that list is the up-to-date locations for airports that utilize that mobile passport control function.
Okay. And you mentioned that it's not allowed to use the NPC on a first-time visit. Does that mean with a new ESTA, or does that how does it work if you already requested a visa earlier, but now it has expired, so you're requesting a new one, but it's your first travel on the new ESTA? Does that mean the first time you're traveling, or the first time in general traveling to the country?
Yes, after your first time in general using ESTA 2 years ago, now you're traveling on a new ESTA.
Yeah.
We recognize that you traveled on ESTA before, so you will be able to utilize NPC.
Yeah, perfect. There you go. Another question about the NPC in the chat. When you've traveled on the Visa Waiver Program before, but you're bringing a child for the first time, can you use it?
Unfortunately not. That person who did use it will be able to use it. Those who haven't cannot.
Okay. That's clear. I'm just gonna check in the chat if any questions new have come in. There was also a question that came up. So we've talked mostly about coming into the country through the airport, but what if you're traveling, let's say, with an RV from Canada into the USA? Are there any different rules, regulations in terms of ESTA visa or the NPC?
For ESTA, I can speak for ESTA is required for folks that are traveling via land, meaning through Canada or Mexico. They are required to have an ESTA. I don't believe NPC is available out on land borders as of now. Not not aware of it having NPC out there, but you do have to have an approved ESTA to travel via land or RV in this case.
Yeah.
And all travelers traveling on that RV must have an approved ESTA for entry into the US via a land border.
Yeah. I think a question linking to that, let's say you are transferring for maybe 1 or 2 days in the United States and then continuing your travels to, I don't know, Mexico, then you also need to request or apply for an ESTA.
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Yeah. Even if it's just transferring.
Even those transit, yes. Any entry or transit through the US requires an ESTA.
Yeah. Someone is asking about the two apps, so the NPC app and the ESTA app. Should you use one or both? I know the answer is both, but maybe you can help clarify.
Absolutely, it's entirely up to the traveler. If they're eligible to use NPC, meaning ESTA traveler can use the NPC because it's their second trip to the US, absolutely use NPC. What NPC is just expedited processing through our inspection process at the designated locations throughout the country.
Yeah.
But it's entirely up to the applicant. It's entirely up to the traveler if they want to use.
And the ESTA app is just an easier way to apply for the ESTA. You can apply for an ESTA online, but you can also apply through the app, which I actually did myself last week. Run very smoothly, but it's just,
Absolutely.
yeah. And it's also an easy way to view the status of your ESTA application. So you
Correct.
view it easily.
Absolutely, because what the ESTA mobile app does is basically takes your passport information, that information from your passport, your ESTA application pulls that information from your passport, meaning your name, date of birth, and transfers that information onto your application. Like I said previously, it's a more accurate way to apply for ESTA. Minimizing mistakes, when you're typing or whatever, using your phone to type or whatnot. But then even after that, the ESTA app gives you an opportunity at the end of these, before you submit it, to review the application for any mistakes, or if anything is off, or just for corrections that need to be made, just to verify all the information prior to submitting and paying the application fee.
Yeah. I see we're slightly heading over time, so I'll pick one more question, and otherwise we'll follow up with the others via email. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Amanda. She shared a link in the chat about which locations are using the MPC. So that's an easy link to save with the QR code and the other media links that were shared. Yeah, I'll take this question. So if you request a new ESTA application on the same passport details, like how does that work? So let's say you make a mistake and then you want to apply for a new one. Can you just do that, or do you need to contact that travel center to cancel the first application and then apply for the new one? Because it's of course linked to the same document. So
if applicants are unable for whatever reason to submit a new application on the same passport information, yes, contact the Travel Communications Center, and like I said, explain what the error is, or what the problem is with the application, and that resource will be able to verify the information and cancel the application if necessary, to allow that applicant to reapply with the correct information.
Yeah, I think that's the key here. Just with any questions, contact the travel center and they will be able to help with the next steps.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Actually, a good question that I see now, because it now in the app, you now have the option to do the selfie, or well, it's not really an option. It's something that you're doing.
Correct. Yeah.
Would that indeed mean that travel agents cannot apply for their clients because not through the app?
The travel agent will actually have to have an actual photo of the person, the applicant.
Yeah. Yeah. Because on the webs, like when you do it on a web browser, that's not asked. It's just in the app where this is requested. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I do see many more questions coming in, but we are running out of time. And I think what's best, all these questions will be saved in our chat, and I'll be sure to follow up with Brian and the team at ESTA with any of the other questions that we did not get to discuss today. So we will still, get back to you with an answer, and also follow up with any other details in a follow-up email. So thank you very much, Brian, for taking the time to taking us through the whole ESTA process and things that, I think it included a lot of handy tips for everyone to use when they're helping their clients with travels to the United States. So thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And I'll, finish up the webinar by thanking everyone for taking the time out of their day to joining us as well. We'll follow up with the recording so you can rewatch it. And Visit USA is constantly organizing events, webinars, and things to provide you with information on the United States, what's new, what's happening, and updates like this. So keep an eye out for any emails or updates coming in, and let's get booking to the United States. Wishing everyone a very nice evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.